Properties of Exponents by Duncan, Jenny, and Asher Simpson. Product of powers. When multiplying integers with the same base number, you simply add the exponents. For example, x to the first times x to the third equals x to the fourth. You add the 1 and the 3.
Negative exponents. When the exponent is negative, you simply multiply the x to the negative and put it under 1. For example, x to the negative 7 would be x to the 7th under 1, and 3 to the negative 3rd would be 27 under 1, because 3 to the 3rd is 27, and the negative makes it under 1.
Fractional base numbers. When the base number you're dealing with is a fraction, you apply the exponent to both the numerator and denominator. For example, x over y to the second is the same as x over y times x over y, which is the same as x times x over y times y, which equals x to the second over y to the second. An example with real numbers is 1/2 raised to the power of 2 is the same as 1/2 times 1/2, which is also the same as 1 times 1 over 2 times 2, which equals 1 raised to the power of 2 over 2 raised to the power of 2, which equals 1/4. Product of powers and power of a power. When you have two base numbers multiplied by an exponent, you take both those numbers out to the number of the exponent. For example, we have x to the y in parentheses raised to the power of 2, which equals x times y times x times y, which is the same as x times y, which is equal to x to the second times y to the second. An example we have with real numbers is 2 times 3 to the power of 2, which is the same as 2 times 3, all that times 2 times 3, which is equal to 2 times 2 multiplied by 3 times 3, which is the same as 2 raised to the power of 2 times 3 to the power of 2, which equals 4 times 9, which ultimately equals 36. Fractional exponents. When your base number is multiplied to the power of a fractional exponent, you take the denominator and put it right next to the root. So for this one, we have a 3 here, and we put it here, and it'd be a cubed root. So it's the cubed root of x squared, and that's your answer. For example, we start here with 8 to the 2/3. You take that denominator, put it next to the root, and this one is a cubed root. The cubed root of 8 is 2. 2 raised to the power of 2 equals 4, and that's your answer. To the power of 0. Any number to the power of 0 equals 1, no matter what. X to the 0 equals 1. Another example with a real number is 100 to 0. It equals 1. No matter what number you have, it will always equal 1. Quotient of powers. When you have two of the same variables in a fraction, both raised to an exponent, you can cross-cancel each other out from top to bottom. For example, we have x to the fourth over x to the second, which equals x times x times x times x over x times x. The bottom has 2, so you can cross out 2 from the top, which leaves 2 x's on the top, which is the same as x to the second. An example with numbers in front of the variables, so we have 10x to the fourth and 5x to the second. You can cross-cancel out 2 x's from the top with the ones from the bottom. So it's 10 x times x times x times x over 5x times x. You can cross out 2, which equals 10x to the second over 5. But then you have to divide the numbers in front of the x. So 10 divided by 5 equals 2, and the 2 x's, so 10x2 over 5 equals 2x exponents. When a variable is raised to an exponent, you're simply multiplying that variable by itself the amount of times the exponent is. For example, x to the second, you're multiplying x by itself twice, so x times x. Another example is 6 raised to the third, which is you multiplying 6 by itself 3 times. So 6 times 6 times 6, which equals 216. Power over power. When you have a variable multiplied by an exponent and all of that multiplied by another exponent, is the same thing as doing that variable times the exponent times itself as many times as the number of the exponent is. For example, x to the fourth and all that raised to the power of 2 is the same as x times x times x times x multiplied by x times x times x times x, which equals x to the 8th. An easy way to do that is to multiply the two exponents. So for example, x to the fourth raised to the power of 2, you just do 4 times 2, which equals x to the 8th. An example with real numbers is 3 squared and all of that raised to the power of 3. So you do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which equals 3 to the 6, which ends up equaling 729.